So we are Team 3120 and we are doing our project on walk-ons.
So a little bit about Walk-Ons. It was founded by Brandon Landry and Jack Warner, who were walk-ons for the LSU basketball team. The first restaurant was opened up on September 3rd, 2003 in Baton Rouge.
And now Drew Reeves is actually a co-owner of Walk-Ons. They have over 20 locations, including restaurants in Texas and in Mississippi.
Hi, my name is Ben Broussard, and I am the IT data analyst for Walk-On's restaurant. We're a fast-growing casual chain restaurant. Right now we have 26 stores open. We have 100 in the works. So, technology is a big part of what we do.
What I learned that was confirmed through our interview about IT was that I learned that an EIS system could be very effective to managers and executives. The EIS systems are used to gauge company performance by showing managers things such as earnings, budgets, and sales. Managers like the EIS system because it uses graphics to display and visualize the data in an easy-to-use fashion. And with Walk-Ons uses the Connect Smart Kitchen display system, which shows managers information about the orders that were put into the point of sale system. It shows things such as the number of times that an item was ordered, the average amount of time it takes to complete each item, and which items are going to which table. The Connect Smart Kitchen receives the order from the point of sale system and then displays that information to different stations around the kitchen. The Connect Smart Kitchen allows managers and executives to identify bottlenecks at a particular station. When they identify these bottlenecks, they can take the necessary steps to correct them. So, for example, if items from the grill station have an average time that is unacceptable to managers, the managers can pinpoint the problem to each station and then take the steps to correct those bottlenecks.
What I learned that was something that we had learned already in lecture and class was that technology has really changed everything, even in industries that you wouldn't think would be that tech heavy, like the restaurant business. Mr. Broussard also said that everything is just faster now, and that was something else that we had heard in class. So people want real-time data and they use real-time data in their decision making. A really big point that he made that I remember also from class was not to underestimate the user's resistance to change, and that it's really important to give them high quality training and training that will make them understand not only how to use the system, but why they're using the system and why it benefits them. We also talked about outsourcing and that he thought it was kind of difficult to get it right because even when you outsource things, sometimes you have to go over the work that's being outsourced and make sure it's right. So it's not just a plug in and go solution. And then he also mentioned that when they implemented new IT systems, it would slow things down at first and make them less efficient, meaning that the W effect that we learned about is true in the case of walk-ons.
IT and technology that was from class that was confirmed through the interview is the fact that technology can be good and bad for a company. Kind of going off of what Ben said in the interview, but I just like to go a little more into it. So the good side of technology is the fact that you can now get your data from so many other sources like Instagram, Facebook, reviews, Twitter, blogs, surveys. There's just so many other avenues that are now available for you to extract data and use that to drive business. And I think that that's very good just because you can easily get the data and it's basically real time, just seeing those reviews and seeing what people have to say on Instagram or social media apps. It's really easy for you to get that data and use that to kind of change up your processes for your company or your business. And it just makes it a lot easier for our world today. Now, the bad side to that is that as soon as that data goes out into the world, it's available for the public to see. So anything that's bad for the company, anything that somebody posted that they're trying to basically put the company down, everybody in our world today can see that easily within seconds. So that's kind of the bad side to it. It's just like if there's something bad that's being talked about that company, anybody can see it, and it's very hard to get that down or to kind of delete that from the internet. And that's really bad for certain companies when there's somebody that maybe a celebrity has something to say bad about a company. If they post that, then the entire world can see.
So one lessons that I learned from class that was confirmed by our interviews were the reasons for failure in business process redesign. So one question that we asked Mr. Broussard was how to reduce the user resistance when you implement a new IT system. So he mentioned showing the employees the benefit, giving them reasons for why they're implementing the change, and showing them the benefits of how it benefits the restaurant and also themselves, and how that helps in the implementation process. So in class, we talked about some reasons for failure, which was lack of support from senior management, poor understanding of the organization and the infrastructure, lack of guidance and motivation, and also neglecting people's values and their beliefs. So when he was mentioning in the interview about making sure that the employees are properly trained, that they understand the benefit for themselves and also the business, and also management being very involved in the process also helps the system succeed.
So what I learned about IT that was new through our interview was the difference between the input rights and the decision rights. So at Walk-Ons, I learned that the IT or the operations support department can make recommendations about any new IT systems or issues that may arise within the organization. So they have input rights, and the decision rights are made by someone called the controller at Walk-Ons. The controller gets input from the personnel in the IT department and then uses that he takes that information into account when he is making the final decision. So the controller really has he makes the ultimate decision about IT, but the decision can be overridden by the owners at Walk-Ons.
And what I learned was mostly that you don't have to necessarily study IT to work in IT. Because Mr. Broussard, that wasn't what he went to school for, and he started out just in the restaurant business, but he was able to learn it over time. And then he also mentioned that it's easier to pick up tech skills than people skills.
So what I learned from our class that was new from the interview was the fact that focusing on the customer's ordering, the ordering process, is such a big deal for the company. I didn't really think that was such an important thing to focus on when dealing with the restaurant, because it's just you pick up the order and you just keep moving. But now, as we see in restaurants and different industries, they're trying to involve technology a lot more into restaurants, which is something that was new to me because I've only been to maybe one restaurant where they have a system where you can order from your table. Now, which Ben mentioned, they're trying to implement that a lot more into restaurants, and that's something that they're trying to move towards, which is really interesting because it's something that's exciting and new for customers when they're going to a restaurant. You don't have to necessarily even talk to someone when you're ordering your food. You can just order it on the computer system and they'll bring it to you. And it's kind of interesting to me is because now I'm wondering, do we actually need servers? Do we actually need somebody that's bringing your food out to you? In my mind, maybe we can actually have robots or somebody that's actually bringing your food out, or that's taking your order and then you can go pick up your food. It's just becoming a lot more streamlined with the use of technology, which is really interesting to me.
Okay, so kind of piggybacking off what Broderick said, So as Mr. Broussard mentioned in the interview, that technology is continuously changing, especially in the restaurant industry with how your food is being ordered. So it's very important to evolve with the times. So make sure that you're working outward with improving your customer experience and working inward, make sure that your internal processes and how the staff uses the technology is effective and efficient, and also making sure that your technology that you're implementing in your business is completely aligned with your business strategies and your business model.
So, with this new insight, what it means to us as future IT executives, we kind of all came up, or we kind of all agree on this. We believe that in the future, developers should keep in mind that there will be people who aren't tech savvy. So with that in mind, they should focus on developing new software and technology that's simple to use. So business owners, if they implement certain technology, they can try to combat the user resistance that they're going to be faced with.
So I was also thinking that with us as executives, I think we should focus on actually making sure that we take the time to show how the change brings value to our employees or our teammates. Kind of just making sure that we actually weigh out like the options of, if we go with this, what can it do for our company, what can it do for our team, and then also taking the time to kind of explain, like, if we don't choose to go with this decision, what are the consequences, what are the costs of not choosing this system. And I think that it's important for us to kind of just make sure that we're doing our research and taking out the time to come up with multiple options to give to our teammates, just to kind of help them out with trying to convince people or adopt change within the company.